show going. I'm going to welcome your first comic to the stage. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Chris Allen.
Alright, guys. So, anybody here because they bought a really shitty Groupon that was about to expire? I have this problem. I'm always buying these shitty Groupons. One came into my email the other day for an introduction to cane fighting class. I don't know when I'm going to really use this thing, right? When am I going to be in a situation where I need self-defense and I happen to have a cane handy? Later in life, that's what I'm thinking, right? Like I'm going to be like 80 and I'm going to get attacked by a bunch of young punks and I'll be like, thank you, Groupon! Speaking of like shitty purchases, I was thinking what I would do if I won the lottery. Like the first thing I'd buy. It wouldn't be a plane, it wouldn't be a yacht. What I would do is I'd go and buy myself a Dyson Airblade hand dryer. Those things are awesome! Oh my god, after you use the Dyson Airblade in the bathroom to dry your hands, you try and use a normal one of those things, and it feels like there's a smoker inside the machine with emphysema, right? It's just coughing on your hands, like... I end up just wiping my hands on my pants and walking out of there. I'm so disappointed. But you use a Dyson Airblade and it's like, oh my god, I feel like my hands are transported to the future or something. Like, honestly, like the skin comes back looking younger. You know? Like my grip strength is stronger. I can't masturbate for 2 days afterwards. But yeah, I mean, if you had one in your house, right, the beauty of it is sooner or later, you know you'd be getting out of your shower and you'd look at it, and you'd look down, and you'd be like, it's time. It's time, right? Because you know you want to drop it in there, drop your nutsack in that thing, shoo! Oh, man. The best part of that, though, guys, you wouldn't even have to worry about leaving pubes on that thing, because the air would blow them right off. Right off. By a round of applause, who here sent a naked picture of themselves to their significant other using their cell phone? Anybody? A few people and a few liars. It's a big problem, I guess, amongst teenagers. I was watching a show on it, and I was thinking about, though, like, if you gave 14-year-old me a cell phone camera, you know what? You're right. I'd probably be taking pictures of my dick, and I'd be sending them around, right? Some girl smiles at you, you're like, hey, picture of my dick, you know? Or maybe you're getting good service in a restaurant. You're like, there's your tip, and this is the tip of my dick. Or maybe it's Christmas time. You're opening up presents. You're like, oh, socks. Grandma, you shouldn't have. Guys, hey, I didn't say it. You guys thought it. First of all. And second of all, I couldn't send a picture of my dick to my grandma because she doesn't have a cell phone. So, you guys are terrible people. But I was thinking, like, what would they do 200 years ago, right, if they wanted to approximate sexting before the camera was invented? You'd have to basically get some parchment paper out, right, a quill pen, and you'd have to try to draw your dick. You know, and if you really wanted to, you know, capture all the veins and the magic, because that's where they keep the magic in the penis, it's in the veins, I don't know if you guys were aware of that, you'd have to maintain an erection the whole time, right? And that'd be difficult to do. But imagine if you did get it done, right? And then you send it off with the Pony Express, and it's like 2 weeks later, and your sweetheart gets it and looks at this thing, right? She's like, oh, Bartholomew, this just won't do. Your penis is far too small. It's got no girth. Pretty sure that's how people talked back then. Right? Or maybe she gets really into it, right? And she wants to draw one of her own womanhood and send it back, but it just looks like she scribbled all over the paper. Nobody shaved back then. Guy gets that back to the Pony Express, like, I'm not going to be jacking off to a ball of wool at this point. I gotta apologize, guys. I have a bit of a twisted mind. And I was thinking about what caused it, you know, and I look back at it. It's probably the amount of dial-up porn that I looked at as a youth. You guys remember dial-up porn? Right? This is different than today, you know. You were watching videos. You were waiting 4 minutes for a JPEG to download. You know, this was a whole exercise in imagination and patience, you know? Because you'd be watching it coming down, and you'd be like, oh, sweet, she's in the locker room. You know? A little further, and you're like, oh, she's a blonde. I like blondes. A little further down, it's like, oh, she's got dark eyebrows, maybe, you know, natural blonde. You know? By the time you got to the tits, you were just like, oh, God, you wanted to finish. But you know what? You had to hold on for the good part. And then every now and again, you find out you're looking at a Filipino ladyboy. Super disappointing. Like, I'd finish, but I wouldn't be happy about it. You know? All right, guys, that's my time. I should get out of here and use that game fighting Groupon.